Now, statistics track the number of women in the workforce, their educational qualifications and salaries. But data does not tell us the whole picture. It doesn't tell us how women feel, for instance, and how they fare day to day in the world of work. With a major drive to get more women into the workforce, the Thomson Reuters Foundation, supported by the Rockefeller Foundation, embarked on a global survey across the G20 countries to name the 5 key challenges they face at work and to discuss the findings. And of course, with us, we're joined by Monique Villa, the CEO of the Thomson Reuters Foundation. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. Briefly, what are the 5 key challenges that women face?
Well, more or less for all women in the G20, the pay gap is one of the biggest challenges they see. The pay gap between what men are paid and what women are paid. Right. And you know, if you just follow the White House says that men in the US, women make 77% of the salary of a man in the US. But of course, in other countries, much worse. US in the gender gap of the World Economic Forum is number 42 of the countries, right, where UK is 91 and South Africa is 92.
But the key thing that you set out to find was how women feel about things.
What we wanted to know, we have plenty of statistics about women at work, and what we wanted to know is how women feel at work.
But
because
the
perception that women have of their situation is sometimes very different from the statistics.
Right. But what I don't understand is, why is it important to gather data on how women feel at the workplace?
Well, because sometimes they feel things which are very important. For instance, if you take a country like South Africa, okay, the gender gap and the pay gap between men and women is higher than in most countries. They are 92 in the WEF ranking. But the women don't feel at all this. They think 51% of the South African women at work think that they have the same opportunities as men.
So they don't actually know what's going on.
So what it means is that perception makes you feel differently.
Right.
Perception makes you feel okay because you think, you know, in South Africa, probably we are not going to address the issue very quickly. The things have changed a lot since the end of the apartheid, but it's progressive on every field.
But I mean, the fact, though, is that, I mean, these are not real new issues or concerns, are they? I mean, what new light will your report shed on it?
Well, I think that the new light, it is that the poll shows a clear disconnect between statistics and what women feel.
Right.
So in India, for instance, if you are a woman today, you will stand up and say if you are harassed at work. 4 years ago, before the rape in New Delhi of this student in 2012, nobody in India would have dared to do that. Today, they feel it's in their grasp. They could win on that, so they will say when they are harassed. In South Africa, women don't say when they are harassed. They shut up. But you know,
is that a cultural phenomenon? Do you think?
It's a cultural phenomenon, and I think that the perception of women, you know, for instance, US, UK, France, Germany, rich countries, women think that the difference of salary between men and women is unbearable, and so they fight for that. So it's their main issue. And because they think that it is for grasping. They can fight for it and maybe they will get it. If they shut up, they will never get it.
Absolutely.
Where in India, women think if we fight for it, we will maybe have better laws on violence against women, etc. But the pay gap is so far away.
So what was the big issue in South Africa then?
In South Africa, I think people are extremely optimistic. Women are extremely optimistic. 63% think that they can have children and work, and there is absolutely no problem for their career, which is a remarkably high number. It's immediately after Brazil. And in Brazil, the reason is that they have fantastic laws when you are pregnant and you have a baby,
Well, let me ask you this very briefly before we go. What should one conclude from your report?
Well, you should conclude that you believe in the statistics, but what women feel is also very important. And so when you manage a country, when you rule a country, you should be very aware of the situation, the perception of women of what happens in this country.
Monique Villa, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.